Thanks. The University of Chicago facing backlash. It's over a new course set to kick off next year called, quote, The Problem with Whiteness. The university says the spring semester class will be based off of critical race theory, claiming that in recent years, whiteness has resurfaced as a conspicuous problem within liberal political discourse. The seminar examines the problems with whiteness through an anthropological lens, drawing from a classic and contemporary works of critical race theory. University of Chicago alumna and co-founder of the Chicago Thinker, Evita Duffy, joins me now. Evita, what did you think when you saw that this was going to be a course at your former school? Were you shocked or was it expected?
You know, I was not shocked. I think it's hard to really tell exactly what's going to be taught in this course because, as you probably can tell because you read part of the course description, it's full of academic jargon. But once we can get past that, I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be teaching CRT, or teaching the problem of whiteness exclusively through the prism of CRT. And I think that's a faulty premise to start from in the first place. But if we're not even going to debate whether, CRT is a valid way of viewing the world, then we know for sure that this is a case of indoctrination and not education. And sadly, it's a case of indoctrination, teaching students to be actually racist, which I think is very disturbing. But just to go into like the story of this a little bit, there was a student who exposed this to myself, to other alumni, to parents. His name is Daniel Schmidt, and he brought up this story. He said, look, they're teaching this class, and said, I think this is a pretty good example of anti-white racism at our university. And the professor has smeared him as a cyberbully, a cyber terrorist, and I think that's a pretty unfair accusation to make for a student just saying, let's talk about the courses that we're teaching. Let's talk about the insertion of ideology and not genuine truth seeking in our universities. But I think this course is actually emblematic of an even bigger issue. It's not just this sort of little cyber war between this professor and this Daniel Schmidt, this student. It's actually a problem of a deficit in middle of the road and conservative professors at American universities. As when I graduated last year, if I wanted to find a left-wing course and take that course, very easy. If I wanted to take a course from a professor who was just going to sort of present a bunch of different arguments, we were going to debate them, we were going to talk about them, we were going to work through them, it's very difficult to find professors like that because conservative and middle-of-the-road professors have been either weeded out or they've been bullied into silence on college campuses. And I think it's a real disservice to the American education system. And I think alumni, parents, they deserve to know the truth of what's going on, and that's exactly what the student did in this instance.
The University of Chicago sent us a statement about the course. The university defends the freedom of instructors to teach any course that has been developed through our faculty-led curriculum process, including courses that may be controversial. Is that response and that statement good enough for you?
Yeah, I think the University of Chicago doesn't want to shut down any sort of academic inquiry. They're saying we want to offer whatever courses our professors are interested in studying and pursuing. And I think that there's some fairness to that. I think the problem is that there is only one side ever being taught on college campuses, and the response from the university should be let's work on fostering a culture of intellectual diversity on campus. Let's work on bringing in teachers who have different opinions. And I think what's really upsetting about this course is because there's not a lot of challenges to the ideology being taught in a class like the problem of whiteness and in many classes that spew CRT, is that it's breeding an intolerance on campus. This is university endorsed and contrived discrimination. You have black-only dorms, you have black-only convocations, black and brown-only multicultural centers. This is explicit racism that is being condoned by the ideology being taught by this class, and there's zero professors or students presenting any alternative, intellectual alternative to these kind of ideology, to this kind of ideology.
Okay, Evita Duffy, thanks so much. Also, I do want to point out there was so much backlash that course was pushed back from January to starting March 20th. So we'll see what happens with that. Evita Duffy, thanks for being with us this morning. We appreciate it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.